Friday on the Just Baseball Show. We've got a lot to talk about today. Adam Ottavino elected free agency.
Mm.
Omar Narvaez is up. He's the corresponding move to Corey Lee being placed on the injured list. It's going to be a banger of a show, Peter.
Can we talk about the fun stuff that we're going to be doing?
We're actually not going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about the division leaders in each division of Major League Baseball. And we're not playing fact or fiction, but it's are you buying it? And I think that there are going to be varying degrees of buying it. Plus, we always have a weekend preview on the Friday episode, and I've got a last word as it relates to tax season. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm coming off just a horrible betting loss. Freaking Ron Washington took Jose Soriano under 4.5 hits on Bet MGM plus 120. Sixth inning, 4 hits. Angels are ahead 11-1. You'd expect Ron Washington to maybe put in Ian Anderson, right? He already subbed out some position players, but no, he lets him go out there for the seventh. He gets through it. No hits in the seventh. Brings him out for the eighth. Why, Ron? Why? And then with 2 outs, he gets 2 outs, and an infield dribbler gets that fifth hit. But if you use code Just Baseball on BetMGM before you made that pick, you'd have gotten it all back in bonus bets. Unfortunately for me, I've already been on BetMGM, so I just straight up lost it. But if you have not, use code Just Baseball on BetMGM for that first bet offer up to $1,500 back in bonus bets. But remember, terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is not division leader related, but Jose Soriano is really good. From an on-field perspective, him as a pitcher is
Yeah.
very, very good.
That 97 mile an hour sinker with the splitter was already great. Pitched to a 2.45 ERA in the second half, really got things going as he continued to develop as a starter. And that slider was on today. So if he's got the splitter and the slider that can generate whiffs and that 97 mile an hour sinker that can generate ground balls as good as any pitcher in baseball, we've been glazing the Angels a lot lately and for good reason. How about it, Angels fans?
Kyron Paris is like here, man. Have you guys done the
Yeah.
Kyron Paris conversation yet or no?
We just did buy or sell hot starts. Kyron Paris was one of mine, and Arm and I talked about how he went to Teacher Man, and the swing looks a lot different, pulling a lot of fly balls. He's a good defender. He's got speed, and he's only 23, Jack.
I know. Did you guys both buy it?
We both bought it. How can you
Yeah.
not? Look what we're
I'm
watching.
I'm kind of buying the Kyron Paris thing. He also looks way more filled out than he did in his first big league stint. He looked like a young kid playing big league baseball his first time up. Now he looks like he belongs and he's hitting like he belongs and he's hitting like he could be a middle of the order or top of the order master for the LA Angels.
Mike Trout coming off a multi-home run day. Joe Adell coming off a multi-home run day. Should we
It's
just make
funny.
this about the Angels?
The one year, the one year that we're not like this Angels team is really good on paper. This is the first time we haven't played that game. And look at the LA Angels and how they've come out of the gates.
That's how we got to do it, right? We got to undersell these teams so they can finally exceed expectations. So
Yeah.
credit to us for that.
Twins are next. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the AL East here. I can't get a read on the Minnesota Twins. The American League East has been a really interesting one. Baltimore is 5-8, Tampa is 5-7, Boston is 6-7. The Yankees are 7-5, but the division leader as it stands right now through 13 games is the winners of three in a row. We're talking before the opportunity. Thank you, Cespedes Family Barbecue. 3-game series is a sweep. A 4-game series is a mop. They have the chance to take all four in a 4-game set against the Boston Red Sox on Thursday night. Obviously, we're chatting before we see that. You're listening after you see what happens. But the Toronto Blue Jays, as it stands right now, are 8-5. They are a half game up on the New York Yankees. I told you we would play you buying it or not. I'm not for sure.
Don't say
Did
for
you?
sure. Come on.
I'm not. Kevin Gosman looked like his stats looked phenomenal yesterday, but it does feel like he walks a little bit of a tightrope right now. Um, I don't like it is nice and the optimism is there because they just paid Vladdy $500 million, but I don't know. I can't buy it with the talent that's around this division right now.
Before we just go talking about not buying it and just sending them back down into the abyss, let's talk about why they're in first place to start. And you
Sure,
talk about
sure.
Gosman, a couple of walks here and there, but at the end of the day, 8 innings, right? Against a really good offense that has just been destroying baseballs. This rotation now ranks second in ERA among all rotations in Major League Baseball, third in WHIP. Easton Lucas. How about this guy? He was like I think he was either a DFA candidate that they just kind of picked up. How about a Ross Atkins masterclass finding a guy like Easton Lucas? Off to a good start, 10 innings, hasn't allowed a run yet. Bassett is shoving, Gosman is shoving, Bowden Francis is doing pretty well, and the most dependable guy in the rotation in Jose Barrios is off to a slightly rough start, 4.58 ERA, but again, he's going to be totally fine. You see Bo Bichette hitting. Vladdy has been okay for his standards, right? He's got a 115 WRC plus. Andres Jimenez is swinging it. George Springer is swinging it. My guy, Will Wagner, is above a 100 WRC plus. We're on Wagner versus Caminero watch for sure. And then Jeff Hoffman is closing the door. Like right now, you see the vision of what the Blue Jays were trying to create this season. And this is really without Anthony Santander hitting. Now you expect him to rise, and you probably expect George Springer to fall. So, do I think they win this division? No, I still think that the Red Sox do, but they're objectively playing good baseball. And that's what I was talking about this offseason when everyone, I think even on this show, are a little bit done with the Blue Jays, talking about their plans in the future and how
Yeah.
it just doesn't look good. But I'm like, on paper right now, though, this is not a bad team at all. I mean, they're only a few seasons away from consistently winning 90 plus with a lot of the bones that are still on this roster. So I do think it's a good team, but I would sell they win the division. But again, I'm not counting them out. I like this team.
I will say, like, I was kind of in the gutter on George Springer. Like, I was not expecting Springer to have a 12.23 OPS through
I don't,
13 games.
to be completely honest, I don't think George Springer expected that either.
No, no chance. But like, I think George Springer might have been hoping for an 800 OPS. I was not expecting Springer to be that productive whatsoever. I thought that was kind of a sunk cost when I was looking at this team this offseason. I mean, Springer has just flat out not been good over the last few years, and now he looks great. Jimenez, the way he's swinging it, I was not expecting that. I had sold my shares of Jimenez and
Yeah.
Springer, and I sold a lot of Bo Bichette, but he's hitting 300 through his first 10 or so games. So it's like they have a lot of guys. I understand why you're saying you see the vision. They just have a lot of guys that I looked at from a 3 months removed lens this offseason and said, I don't buy that you're good in 2025. And here they are being good 10, 15 games into the season.
Here's what I buy. I buy that this rotation is very solid. I buy Bowden Francis. I'm not fully sold on Easton Lucas yet, but if he can be a valuable five starter, that's kind of what the Blue Jays have been looking for, right? Alek Manoah was there, not so much anymore. They bring in Yariel Rodriguez, doesn't exactly work in the rotation. So they've been trying to find that five starter. I think Easton Lucas can be that guy. And then when you have Bassett, Brios, and Gosman giving you a quality start every single game, and Bowden Francis can do the same, this rotation is going to keep them in games. And when you have a back end bullpen of Jeff Hoffman and Yimi Garcia, it's pretty damn solid. It's not a good bullpen, and that's what ultimately will likely lose them games. And they need a couple of the young guys who haven't really stepped up yet offensively, like an Ernie Clement. Even Alejandro Kirk is off to a really rough start, especially with runners in scoring position. I've seen him just fail in big moments so far, but again, he's fine. When they got a couple of young guys, you just hope one of them steps up kind of beyond a Will Wagner when George Springer inevitably starts the decline back down. And then you hope Anthony Santander can take that leap. So I see it. Like I see it, right? But I don't think they're going to win the division. But again, I'm going back to the same point. I think this is a pretty good team. Like I think they finish above 500. I think they're going to win like 83, 84 games, honestly.
Yeah, but that's not enough to make the postseason. So
No, I don't think so
I mean,
either.
like, is it worth keeping all the pieces in place if, your, positive outcome is 83, 84 wins and you're still a couple games shy of a wild card berth?
Let me give you an example. Let's say they are second in the division by the break or by the trade deadline, excuse me. Let's say they're 10 games over 500. They're not taking the world by storm, but they're a good team, which I think is very
Yeah.
possible. Then what do you do? Because
I
then you could probably rationalize buying at the deadline and going for it.
Yeah, I don't know what buying at the deadline looks like for them. I would actually say it looks more like them just holding pat than truly buying. But their buying could just look like setup guys, and setup guys are going to cost them a couple like prospects that the majority of baseball fans have never heard of. I say I don't know what buying looks like, not because of the roster at the major league level, because their farm system is really not good right now.
Here's how they buy, because you and Arm were having a fascinating discussion about Vladdy's contract and all the money that is going to be coming off the books for the Jays over the next couple of seasons. So I think a soft buy, let's say third base is a position that's not really working out for the Blue Jays. Would they be willing to take on Arenado and then make a
Probably.
move for a bullpen arm? With that rotation, you put in Arenado, you get another legit bullpen arm that maybe doesn't cost, a big haul of prospects. Maybe you're not adding an elite closer because you already have one in Jeff Hoffman. You already have an eighth inning guy in Yimi Garcia, but you add a legit seventh inning guy. Then your starters are giving you 6 innings, 3 runs, and the offense is putting up 4, giving you a chance to win. Like, there's a recipe here. I'm not like, the question is, are you selling them winning the division? Yes, but I'm not selling them being good. I'm not.
Okay. Okay. I will say run differential is in the Yankee favor right now. Yankees are 7-5 with a plus 23 run differential. Now that has been elevated by a couple of those Brewer games where they were
Yeah.
just teeing off. Torpedoes, baby.
Where
But it's
Nestor
like,
Cortez Jr. was throwing batting practice, Savali was throwing batting practice, and they got to face two guys making their debut. So yeah, the run differential, at least so far, is a little bit screwed up.
it's a little skewed, but like Toronto's at +4 and Boston's at +8 and Tampa's not far behind at -4 and Toronto's at minus or in Baltimore, pardon, is at -6. So it's like this division is as tight as we were expecting it to be. Granted, they haven't been playing intra-divisional the entire time, but I am buying that I'm selling that they win this division. I think I'm kind of selling that they're in a wild card conversation. I'm buying back into Bichette a little bit because this is what I think Bichette actually looks like. 300 with a 750 OPS.
I don't think it's crazy to say that this team finishes third in this division.
It's not
Like,
crazy. Like, honestly, I'm kind of convinced that Baltimore could just finish fifth outright.
and it's not like the Rays looked that good. I mean, they just got beat the shit out of the Angels today, or they got their shit beaten by the Angels today. They're not that great of a team either. I think the American League is so wide open. And that's why it's like, if the Blue Jays were in the National League, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, we got no chance here. But the American League, like, I could be convinced of just about anybody.
Yeah.
So if I see the vision and I see a good rotation and I see a pretty good lineup and a bullpen that can add pieces, I can start to get talked into it.
Yeah. You never know what can happen. So
Yeah.
I'm with you. All right. Let's go to the American League Central here. And the AL Central, as it stands right now, the White Sox are the bottom dwellers at 2-10. They've lost 8 in a row. Let's spend a minute on that.
So I have White Sox over 53.5 wins is one of my favorite futures. And like they are, I mean, the lineups they're putting out there every day. Mike Talkman just went on the IL.
That was also a brutal way to lose a baseball game on Wednesday. Talkman
Brutal.
pulling up 10 feet shy of the plate with a hammy. He was the
Brutal.
tying run. It was a 2-run game in the top of the ninth inning. Clase, with runners at second and third, allows a single to left field. 1 run going to score easily. Talkman is the tying run. He's around third. Talkman, if he was sprinting, was clearly going to beat the throw, but he like blew out a hamstring rounding third base and he pulls up like 10 feet shy and he's tagged out to end the game. What a White Sox way to lose that one. I felt so bad.
You got to feel so bad for this team. I mean, everything that can go wrong is just going wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, the starting rotation is not bad outside of like Jonathan Cannon, I think right now. Like Shane Smith looks good.
Shane
Uh,
Smith looks awesome. Burke is good.
yeah, like they have arms here. The bullpen, just a bunch of young guys they're throwing in there. I mean, yeah, it's a horrific team. Just please get to 54 wins. Figure it out.
But they've lost 9 of 10, including 8 in a row. They are 2-10. Minnesota is 4-8. Kansas City is 6-6. So is Cleveland. They've won 3 in a row. And Detroit is 7-5. They are the leader as it stands right now. Best arms so far for the Detroit Tigers. Tommy Kahnle been really good out of their bullpen. Their best starter, don't look now. Casey Mize, 11 and 2/3 innings, 5 hits and 1 run. In 11 and 2/3, he has struck out 12. And then offensively, they've really relied on Spencer Torkelson. 12 games, hitting 311, 3 homers, 7 driven in, and OPS over 1,000. Zach McKinstry, 371 with a 1023 OPS so far in 11 games. And Dylan Dingler, pair of homers, hitting 350 with a 1062 OPS. He's 9 for 26 in 8 games. Sometimes it's the players you least expect. And I will say, Skubal had back to back, per his standards, rough outings to open the year. He looked really good against the Yankees last time out.
Looked great.
But Flaherty, the way Flaherty's been pitching, and Mize, the way he's been pitching, the fact that they are doing this, and I understand that it's only been 12 or so games for them, without Gleyber Torres for the most part, who's only played 2 games, tip of the cap to them, man.
Every single player in the Tigers starting lineup has a WRC plus over 100,
Wow.
which includes Javier Baez at 117. How about it? And you talk about the rotation, right? They're seventh in ERA as a rotation, and that's something I can buy because Skubal has been he's he's got a 3.78 ERA. He's going to be amazing. He might even just win the Cy Young again. Jack Flaherty has just been awesome to start. I thought that start against the Dodgers in particular was so huge for him. Wasn't his best start ever, but it was against the Dodgers offense that could not lose. You got Jack Flaherty who just left the Dodgers, his hometown team. He's a guy who grew up in Southern California and then goes back and shoves like that. I thought that was huge for his confidence, and he's just going to continue to build on that like he has. Right? Casey Mize has just looked awesome. Clearly fooling with some things this offseason, different kind of pitch mix, and he looks excellent. Reese Olson, and the reason I'm buying it is because Reese Olson is not off to a good start, and I fully expect him to be much better than a 5 ERA through his first 2 starts. Jackson Jobe is a guy who you just expect to get better, just needs reps. Still a super young guy, right? Doesn't have a super long career of pitching, right? Wasn't he a former shortstop? So he's going to continue to get better at just 22 years old. So the rotation I can absolutely buy. And I keep going back and forth on this because I was low on the Tigers this offseason. And I feel like I've said this already 4 times, and it's been like 11 games through the season so far. But the reason I will eventually be wrong on the Tigers is if this offense just completely outperforms my personal expectations. I knew Kerry Carpenter would hit, I knew Riley Green would hit. I didn't realize we were going to get this from Spencer Torkelson, but I'm fully bought in. I mean, Zach McKinstry is not going to put up a 191 WRC plus. Dylan Dingler is not going to be a 207 WRC plus. Trey
Yeah.
Sweeney and Javier Baez, I don't think are above average hitters. Now, Justin Henry Malloy can be an above average hitter and more of a soft side of a platoon role. But do
Yeah.
I think that he is like a legit 120 WRC plus guy? No, I don't. So that'd be the only reason for me really to sell the Tigers is me not thinking that this offense can continue to hit at the level they are at right now. Like, do I think they're going to be third in OPS when all said and done, and they're still just 7-5? That's why I'm not buying them to win the rotation. So I guess I'm doubling down on a take that's already wrong to begin with. Might as well just stay wrong. Might as well stay wrong here. I'm not going to buy it.
Okay. Who are you buying instead?
I'm going to buy the Royals. No, actually, I'm buying the Twins because once they get hot, no, I'm so
Yeah.
sick of
Once
it.
they get hot, once everybody's on the field.
I tried to give them a chance. I tried. I tried to do well by the Twins.
Nope.
Nope. Nope. I'll buy the Royals because I do like this offense, especially with my guy Michael Garcia. You're talking about Mackenzie Gore. We're not wrong. We're just early. I'm not wrong. I'm just early on Michael Garcia. He's been swinging it well. You see Vinny. You see Bobby Witt Jr. I still believe in that rotation the most out of any of the rotations in this division, especially with Bubic stepping up the way that he is behind
Yeah.
Reagans and Lugo and Waka, of course. And I still like the bullpen. Like, I still think that the Royals are the best team in this division, and I think they will end up winning it. But it's really such a crapshoot. I could make an argument for the Guardians, even though they're not off to a good start. I could still try to convince myself that the Twins can get hot. And the White Sox are just I could convince myself the White Sox are going to win 55 games.
You already did. I'm starting to get a little nervous about Cleveland. And I'll lay out why. Like J Ram is J Ramming right now. And it's weird. He's made what, 4 errors already this year? 5 errors already this year? Like he's struggling defensively, Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, that'll just be a weird
Yeah,
bump in
no,
the
I mean,
road.
it's just a
That's
little blip in the radar. But like
yeah.
Jose Ramirez is OPSing over 1,000 right now, right? And Steven
Yeah,
Kwan is hitting 356 with a 930 OPS. Steven Kwan has 2 homers on April 10th. Can
damn
you
right he
believe
does.
it?
Damn right.
But like outside of J Ram and Kwan, our question was who's going to be good? And Manzardo's been good. He's hitting 225 in his first 12 games, but he's got 4 homers and he's driven in 11. Carlos Santana's been good, not great. And then I'm looking at the part of the lineup that I've been worried about for a few years, and nobody's making me feel better. So J Ram, I knew I felt great about, and I feel great about him right now. Juan, I knew I felt great about, and I feel great about him. Manzardo and Santana, I knew I felt good about, and I feel good about him right now. But Gabriel Arias is hitting 200 and he's slugging 315. And Brian Rocchio's 7 for 32 and he's OPSing 590. Bo Naylor is 5 for 29 and he's got a 550 OPS. Nolan Jones is 4 for 30 with 14 strikeouts. And not to mention my guy Big Christmas, who I wanted to leave out of this because it doesn't fit my agenda to point out that he's struggling, but unfortunately I have to do it. John Ketsy Noel is 4 for 25. Nolan Jones, Bo Naylor, Brian Rocchio, Gabriel Arias, like all 4 guys you rely on to be pieces for them and just be good enough. And the ship is close to sailing on Bo Naylor at this point. I'm sorry, but it is. At what point do you say, maybe you're not the young, exciting project anymore and you might not be our catcher of the future? Like he hits arbitration next year. It's really hard. Nolan Jones, like he had that awesome year in Colorado. He didn't do it in Cleveland. Like, and he was not good last year. I know injuries have factored in, but you start to run out of time with guys like this. Rocchio, I think he hits arbitration next year. And then you look at the pitching staff right now. Like Gaddis has been awesome. Kate Smith has been awesome. Joey Cantillo out of the pen has been awesome. And then you've got Gavin Williams off to a nice start. Logan Allen's been off to a nice start. But dude, like Luis Ortiz in his first 2 starts in a Guardians uniform has allowed 16 hits in 10 innings. Ben Lively's allowed 13 hits and 7 runs in 14 innings. Like I just get worried about this team.
I said this in the offseason, and you wanted me at the Salem witch trials. You wanted me burned at the stake for saying all these things. What did I say? I said that this lineup does not have any depth in it. I said that the bullpen was gonna be good, but it's gonna take a step back, right?
You
Now
said it
the
was
guard
going to be the worst bullpen in Major League Baseball
here it
history, and I
is.
couldn't
Here
believe that.
you're bringing it back in. You wanted to burn me at the stake for speaking facts.
No, I'm not worried about the bullpen. To be honest, like I'm worried about the rotation. I'm worried about the rotation after Bybee.
That's
And
what I
I
said.
I pointed that out,
Not
but
really.
I was giving Luis Ortiz the benefit of the doubt because he was so good. And like
Yeah.
I'm not saying
And
that
it's
two
not over
starts is
yet.
the end all
Yeah.
be all for him. It's not over yet, but at some point it's going to be over for Bo Naylor. Like I don't know when that is, but at some point it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean he's just still 25. Like it's almost like the prospect fatigue thing when a guy has been up for so long. But yeah, I mean, I'm watching the same ABs you are. I get it. Guardians fans get it. They're watching the same thing, but it's just so hard for me to be like, "Oh yeah, your time might be over at
He
25."
also has one more pre-arb year next year.
Yeah.
So sorry. I guess we get one more year.
Yeah, we'll get one more year. And like, yeah, I just said that this Guardians team selling off pieces just kind of spoke to me that this team is not quite gunning for the division again. If they win the division again, that's great, but they weren't gunning for it. Right. And I still think that Lane Thomas will probably be traded at the deadline. Right. Maybe even Carlos Santana is going to get traded at the deadline. And so even if they are decent by that date, some of the core guys in this lineup are also going to be gone.
Lane Thomas, by the way, 5 for 30 to open the year.
Yeah, and he also got hit on the hand too. Um, he'll be fine. But this rotation will get back Shane Bieber at some point, which is good. But yeah, I mean, you look at the rotation, it's like all I really believe in is Tanner Bybee, and he's not off to a great start.
And
I,
Gavin,
I like
I do
Gavin.
believe in Gavin Williams.
I believe in Gavin Williams to be a 140 innings at a 3.7 guy. So,
I go 150 at a 3.5.
I mean, that's a really good pitcher. Like you were saying, Luis Ortiz, 170 innings at a 3.4. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, I was drunk on the Kool-Aid.
And I have to admit to something too. Arm and I were talking about OPS yesterday, and I'm talking about I think James Wood is going to have an 850 OPS or below, and he was like, "That's still awesome," and I was like,
It is
"It is
awesome.
awesome, but it's not that awesome." And he's like, "Jackson Merrill had an 826 OPS last year." I
It
was like,
is
"I
awesome.
don't even know what OPS is." I think you're falling into the same bucket where you're like, "I don't even know how many pitchers have 170 innings at a 3.4."
No, I mean, here's the thing. I close my eyes and I see everybody's 90th percentile outcome. What does a great year for you look like?
Or
And
you see
the
the
teams
10th.
that fit my agenda, like, listen, I have the cop out of just saying guard ball whenever I want. It's like, you know what? Guard ball, we're fine. With any Guardian, I just close my eyes and it's like, yeah, Luis Ortiz could do this if he was freaking awesome all year.
So
That's not how baseball works.
to wrap up on this, who you got winning the division?
Kansas City, I'm
Yeah.
with you. I think
Okay.
Kansas City is just flat out awesome. And it seems like they have the complementary pieces to Bobby Witt Jr. in that lineup to solve the issues that I was worried about last year.
Mm,
And this pitching staff is real good, man. And they're going
yeah,
to
it is.
keep adding to that bullpen. I love what Bubic has given them to this point.
Yeah. It's just I have the most faith in that rotation, and then they have one of the best players in the world in Bobby Witt Jr., surrounded by good complementary pieces on offense,
Yeah.
and three guys I rely on in the bullpen. And they'll mix in some other guys there too. I just think they're the most sound team. Thing is, I'm not sold on the Royals though. Like I'm not at all. I think they're
Yeah.
going to be a good team, but any team can win this division. I can hear anything. I really still wouldn't be shocked if the Twins figure out a way to win this. I mean, it's still
No,
so early,
I wouldn't be surprised at all either, but it's a total crapshoot in the
especially with
American League Central.
Lopez going on the IL.
Yeah.
That's not good. Pablo Lopez for the Twins.
Yep. All right, let's go to the American League West here. The AL West standings as they stand right now, Seattle is 5-8. The A's are 5-8. Houston is 5-7. The Angels are 8-4, and Texas is 9-4. I'll keep it simple. I'm absolutely buying Texas winning this division. There's minimal doubt in my mind now. The way Leiter looked before the blister made me think that this rotation is deep. And this offense, man, like I know they're not scoring an absurd amount of runs right now, but it does feel like I look at the lineup card every day and I'm like, all right, where's the break? I don't know where the break is.
I keep going back and forth on this Rangers team because a part of my brain is like, this team is getting really lucky early. They're 5-0 in one-run games. They've gotten a lot of timely hitting and a lot of timely bullpen help, even though the bullpen itself hasn't been that great. And the offense has scored less runs than it has given up. They have a
Yeah,
negative run differential to start the year, but they're 9-4. So then that almost points my brain to, well, then once they get hot, when are they ever going to lose?
yeah.
So I'm battling with that. But Langford going on the IL certainly doesn't help this
No,
team, right? And the offense, they're 23rd in OPS, right? You look at the hitters in their lineup, only Corey Seager, Josh Young, Josh Smith, and Jonah Heim are swinging the bat well. Adolis Garcias have been around league average. Marcus Semion's been terrible to start the year. Leody Taveras hasn't done anything. Jake Berger, Jock Peterson, neither have done anything. And then nobody on their bench has contributed at all. They're still giving Patrick Corbin outings. Tyler Malley looked good. Kumar Rocker did not. Nathan Eovaldi's been a beast. And of course, you have Jacob DeGrom. And I still just don't really trust this bullpen. So it's like, I think this team will win the division, but I think it's more at the expense of the other teams in the division. Like, I think the Angels are actually a fun team, and I can see the vision here.
yeah, but they're not going to win 80 games.
I don't know. I don't
They're
know
not
about
winning
that.
80 games.
I don't know about that because the reason I don't know about that is if Trout stays healthy and Neto returns, this lineup can hit. They really can. The rotation is, I mean, Soriano's stepping up. Kikuchi's a good arm, and then it just really falls off. And then the bullpen, you got Joyce and you got Kenley, and then it really falls off. So I do think that that's an average team. Like I do. I think that they'll probably finish like 81 and 81.
I
They're not
don't
going to win
think
the
so.
division. I think so. I think this Angels team's got a little spunk to it. But again, the Mariners, the rotation is so damn good, and the bullpen, they're not striking anybody out, but it's still a good bullpen. And like you'd think that the offense is going to somewhat figure it out.
That offense is miserable, man.
The Astros, like I said, I'm just still not afraid of them. I think they're probably going to be in the low to mid 80s.
They're not scoring runs.
No, I think the Rangers probably win like 87 games and win the division. So I'll buy it, but I'm not happy about buying it.
I understand. So Colorado opened on the road. They were on the road for, I think, the entire first week. The bottom four in runs scored in Major League Baseball, there are four MLB teams that have scored fewer than 40 runs. And it's Colorado and Atlanta at 34 apiece, the White Sox, and then Houston. Houston as a team is hitting 208 and they're slugging under 300. For reference on the slug number, if Houston is slugging under 300, they are the worst slugging team in Major League Baseball. The Pirates are second worst with a 301 slug. They're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark. They're not hitting the ball out of the gaps. The Yankees have a 509 team slug. That's hard to believe. So Houston, I worry about their offensive identity. The Angels, I worry that Kyron Paris might be awesome for a month, and then somebody starts to figure him out, and then it's like, oh wait, that's why Kyron Paris wasn't awesome for the last
So
2 years.
you know that meme where it's like it's that drawing. I'm hoping Peyton can edit it in on this.
Oh, like the horse? Are you talking about the
No,
horse that's
no, I'm
beautiful?
talking about here. Let me pull it up for you. I posted it because I posted a Kyron Paris like we're all witnesses type of tweet because he hit a Mason Montgomery 100-mile-an-hour fastball low and in oppo. And yeah, the wind was blowing out. I don't care. I thought it was awesome. It's this meme.
Oh yeah, this sucks actually.
Yeah, like
Literally coolest thing ever.
he's on the biggest heater. He's hitting oppo bombs, and you're like, no, that he's gonna suck soon. I know it. Like, come on, maybe he's good. We don't
I'm
know.
not I'm not saying that. I do think it's literally the coolest thing ever, but is it sustainable? I have no idea.
Yeah, but why say no? Why? Because he struck out in the minor leagues. He made a swing change. He looks great. You talked about him himself. You're looking at his body all the time.
Sure. Yeah. No, I mean the physicality is just through the roof there.
You didn't hear yesterday's show. I got caught up in some Tyler O'Neill body looking, and I almost got too crazy.
Really?
We got to
Yeah,
relax
that's
on that.
you just can't be doing that.
Yeah, we can't be doing that. We're journalists, not just like. All right, what were we talking about again?
We were talking about Kyron Paris. We were talking about the Astros not slugging. I just feel like Texas kind of gives you the best of both worlds there. Like there's a clear-cut deficiency with every single team in this division except Texas. The A's are not going to pitch. The Angels, they have that top end talent, but after that, the depth falls off a cliff. Houston is not scoring right now, and obviously Jordan's going to get going, but what does the rest of that lineup look like in June, in July? I have no idea. You think like Jordan Altuve, Cam Smith, it's all going to work, but you got no idea. And like Seattle, is that lineup ever going to be something? I
But
don't know.
here's my problem: the Rangers have scored one more run than the Mariners this season.
Yes, but
But
that's
again,
also
I
factoring
know.
in Jock Peterson being horrible.
I mean, a lot of their guys have been horrible. But again, that's why I'm struggling because a team like the Rangers, with what they've done so far, has no business being 9-4. But the fact that they are 9-4 and they have no business being there, and knowing guys are going to get hot makes me like the Rangers. So I have a devil and an angel on both shoulders with them. And I
Yeah.
don't know which one to pick. The thing is, and the why I'm buying they win the division is there's two devils on both shoulders for the rest of the teams in this division.
Hmm.
The Rangers at least have an angel on one side,
Yeah.
but they don't have two. And that's why I'm struggling. It's funny.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays are the one I'm most excited about.
Right. I don't know what to make of this division, to be honest, right
Me
now. So
neither.
we'll see. But I mean, before that two-homer day from Seager on Wednesday, the OPS was, I think, under 600. Now it's up to 712. But like Seager got off to a really slow start. Adolis has gotten off to a slow start. Jock is 3 for 32. Semien is 6 for 49. Berger is 5 for 42. These are just tough numbers to look at, and you know all those guys
Yeah.
are better than what they're showing right
Yeah,
now.
I agree. Um, yeah, I'll buy it. Hesitant buy though.
Hesitant buy. Okay, I am less hesitant, and I'm buying.
Cool.
We're going to get to the National League in a moment. Before that, quick break. All right, the National League East. Here is where the NL East stands. Atlanta is 2-9. Whoa. Washington is 5-7, coming off a series win of the Dodgers. Marlins are 6-6. Mets are 8-4, and Philly is 8-3. Mets and Philly have both won 7 of their last 10 games. The separator between them, Philly scoring runs, the Mets are scoring fewer, but the Mets have the best staff ERA in Major League Baseball right now. Mets are a half a game back right now.
Yeah.
Do you want to turn this into a two-horse race at the moment, or do you still want to account for Atlanta?
Absolutely, because well, there's no way I'm
I'm
counting out Atlanta.
totally accounting for Atlanta, but like, do
Yeah.
you want to turn this conversation into a Phillies are the division leader right now, buy or sell, or do you want to turn this into as it stands right now, you more encouraged by the Phillies or the Mets?
We've kind of accidentally done that for every single division, so I just say we stay on course. Let's talk about the Phillies buying or selling, and then let's talk about the Mets and the Braves. Because the Phillies right now look awesome, and I only see two problems so far. Count them two for all those watching on YouTube. Alec Boehm and Jordan Romano. Those are the only real two problems for them right now. Alec Boehm has a 396 OPS, and Jordan Romano has a 15.75 ERA. Right? Like Jose Alvarado is the closer now for the Phillies. It's not Jordan Romano. He has one save opportunity, and I'm sure the Phillies do not want Jordan Romano in the biggest innings right now. He just doesn't look the same.
Yeah,
So that might have been a misstep by Dave Dombrowski adding to the bullpen. I totally understand why he did it. It was a cheap guy who was coming off a rough season and you expect
sure.
him to rebound. And of course, he still can rebound. Like, I'm not willing to just throw away Jordan Romano after throwing 4 innings and them struggling, right? He will get better. But that's the thing with the Phillies. They still just have two problems because Alvarado, Strom, and Kerkering have been awesome in the back end. The rotation is still fantastic. Like Aaron Nola has gotten clipped a couple of times, but Phillies fans are used to Aaron Nola getting clipped a couple of times for home runs. He's going to be totally fine. That rotation is absurd, and we still haven't even seen Andrew Painter yet. And the
Yeah,
offense is still awesome. And noted high on my top 100, Kyle Schwarber leads this team in WRC plus at 209.
yeah,
Um, there's there's no reason to tear down the Phillies even for a second. It's really just like Alec Boehm looks terrible to start, and Jordan Romano might be a problem. And like,
yeah.
if you're a baseball team and you only have two problems, you're on a great track. So I still believe in the Braves. I think the Mets are a good team, but I have to buy the Phillies because I just don't know what the downside, like what does a bad month look like for them? Is it just them not really hitting, like just going cold? I mean, we've seen that plenty of times, but I have so much belief in this rotation, and I know Dombrowski is going to add a bullpen arm at the deadline. They're going to be great. They're going to pitch their way, and the pitching is so good that even in a cold month, they can win 2-1 games.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to go anywhere else but the Phillies, but I can be convinced of the Mets. I can still be convinced of the Braves. I'm sticking to my guns. I'm not
Yeah.
giving up after 11 games. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on the Phillies. Like, how could you not buy that?
Right. And it helps that Luzardo is freaking awesome too.
Awesome.
And I think that your point is really important that they only have two flaws in that both those flaws are individual right
Yeah.
now. So Bohm is a flaw and Romano is a flaw. Usually when we talk about flaws, it's man the outfield or
Yeah.
man the bullpen. Like we clump four guys into a flaw. Or maybe it's a team identity flaw. Like it's just two guys that are underperforming right now. So I
You
do
could
like that perspective.
you could say JT Realmuto is a flaw just because he's 34 now.
Yeah, I
I don't think
mean,
he's going to get back to that offensive production that he was, but he's still a great defender, and I still love JT behind the plate catching that entire staff. So it's
yeah,
like I'm not worried about that.
and you could say JT's a flaw. You could say Marsh is a flaw at this point right now too.
Yeah,
But like, I'm not going there yet with
yeah,
Brandon Marsh. It's just boom. We saw this for 5 months last year after a really hot start, and then we're seeing it at the outset now.
yeah. It's just like Bohm is just hitting the ball on the ground every single time. He's not putting up good ABs. I'm sure he'll be fine too. So it's not even really a flaw.
Yeah,
Like he's got an 11 WRC plus to start. It's not going to continue. He's going to
no, it's
get
not going
better.
to continue.
So if he then gets hot because he has full capability of doing so, maybe when another guy gets cold, you're then supplementing that offense there.
Right.
So I think the only reason you'd sell them winning the division is if you are so bullish on the Mets or the Braves.
Yeah.
And I'm not. I think they're great teams, but I'm not so excited for them that I think they're going to reach new heights, right? The Mets are off to a good start, right? They're 8-4. Who have they played? The Marlins twice. They played, they lost 2 out of 3 to the Astros, and they barely swept the Blue Jays because the Blue Jays bats just didn't show up. And now, that's a testament to the Mets pitching.
Yeah,
This bullpen is outrageously good.
it's really good.
Outrageously good. Tyler McGill, awesome. Clay Holmes is, kind of getting settled here, but 10 strikeouts in his last outing is awesome. They have a fine enough rotation with that offense and that bullpen to win a lot of games. But I am a little bit worried about Mark Vientos, not just offensively, but defensively. At third, he's off to a rough start.
Yeah,
But when you have Soto and you have Lindor and you got Pete Alonso, like you're going to hit,
yeah.
right? And Mark Vientos will eventually rebound and he's going to have one of those months where he looks really hot. So the Mets are really good. And then the Braves, like, still the Braves. Like,
Yeah.
not every player on their team is going to be the worst hitter ever. So
And Strider looks like a Cy Young version of Spencer Strider right now
yeah,
in his rehab outings. And it may just be because he's Spencer Strider, but like that guy's ready to go.
it's also in AAA. You don't think he needs more time to develop down there?
I don't think so. I think he's fine.
Me neither. Are you like? Can you make an argument for the Mets right now? Like, what would be your Mets argument? And you don't
The
even have to
argument
give
is
it
the
if you don't
starting
believe it.
is what?
I said you don't even have to give it if you don't believe it.
No, I don't. It's not that I don't believe it. It's that you got a lot of guys that are off to slow starts. Now, I do have like areas of concern about a couple of those lineup spots, and those involve two guys. But the strength, like the reason you would buy the New York Mets is because McGill's looked really good. Holmes just struck out a career high 10. Senga looks like Senga again. And then you got Griffin Canning, who looks pretty solid now, too. And you
Yeah,
have Manaya and Montas back at some point here. And Peterson, did I mention Peterson?
yeah,
I don't
he's
think
been
I
good
did.
too.
Like Peterson looks pretty good, too. Um, you also have, and Arm and I actually just talked about this on the call up, the most undervalued asset in sports, and that's, or in baseball right now. And that is relievers that can go more than an inning and a third or an inning and 2/3. Like Max Kranick has yet to allow a run,
Yeah,
and he's going two scoreless innings each time he touches the ball.
yeah.
Same with Brazaban, and same with Jose Buto. Like those guys on the heels of what they have in that starting rotation is really darn good. And Edwin Diaz looked good in his first couple of appearances. He obviously struggled on Wednesday against the Marlins, but I, I think the thing that's holding me back is they have clear deficiencies. Number one, in center field,
Yep,
Siri's not hitting and Tyrone Taylor's not hitting.
yep,
Number two, it's second base without Jeff McNeil.
yep.
Beatty's not hitting, which like we need to start slamming the panic button there. And Luis
Beatty,
Angel Acuna is not hitting.
real quick. Beatty negative 28 WRC plus 259 OPS has not drawn a walk, but has struck out 40% of the time.
Yeah, Brett Beatty is 3 for 27 with a double, no walks, no RBIs, and 11 strikeouts.
And Luis Angel Acuna is a 37 WRC plus 449 OPS. Not ideal.
Yeah, so
But again, it's
those are the
so
clear cut
early.
deficiencies. Now, what I will say is Juan Soto has fit the billing. Soto is getting on base at a 400 clip right now, and he's hitting everything incredibly hard
It's
at
so
the
funny.
moment.
I feel like he's been a little bit disappointing to start, and he's
Sure.
got a 150 WRC plus. He's
Yeah,
that good. He's just
he's that
unbelievable.
good. And I
That
will
this is
say,
disappointing.
yeah, and I will say, this is the best we've seen Pete Alonso in a long, long time.
He looks
Alonso looks dangerous.
he's hitting the ball angry. The exit
Yes.
velos. You see our guy Peyton made a video about that, how he's setting exit velocity records. He's hitting the ball angry. I love to see that. Like Pete Alonso, you feel like you get chipped in the market and you're like, all right, I'm gonna show you who the fuck I am. And he comes out firing. Like that, I think that's one of the coolest storylines of the entire MLB season so far is an angry polar bear.
Dude, I
Angry
mean,
polar
he
bear.
looks like Alonso now. Like last year, I feel like we hit a point in
He
that
looks
Met
better.
lineup where Alonso was not the focal point, and now it's like you got Lindor, Soto, Alonso at the top, and then you have Nimmo following, and like Nimmo looks pretty good right now too.
No,
You've
Nemo's not been
got
that good. Nemo's been well. Nemo's look good in spurts.
he's
You
hitting the ball
probably,
hard.
yeah, you probably want, yeah, you
He's hitting the
you'd know
ball
more than me.
really
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
But I think Nimmo looks pretty good right now. But like that three-headed monster, and Lindor started slow, but Lindor, Soto, Alonso, you get to a random game against the Nats or against the Brewers in June. Those three are going to go back to back to start a game off, and it's going to be like, whoa, here's where we are at.
I love Nationals and Brewers fans just catching a stray. Like, hey, why against
Because you're a
us?
random ball game. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Nationals just swept. Oh no, they lost or they won 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers. They almost won that third game. Shout out the Nats. Why are we
Yeah.
talking about them?
Yep. Um, I don't know. Do you want to spend time on that? I'm okay.
Yeah,
It's a fun little story. James Wood looks awesome.
he does look awesome. He's hitting the ball on the ground too much, but he still
But
looks
you
awesome.
think he's going to end with an OPS under 850, which
Yeah,
like
I
means
think
he
he's going to be
stinks, right?
terrible at an 830 OPS.
Just horrible, just brutal. But I wanted to show. Obviously, I don't think Vientos is going to be this bad. I also don't think Acuna, Taylor, and Siri are going to be this bad. Like I do just start worrying about Beatty.
Yeah, that's the one to watch. I mean, the amount, like who he reminds me of right now? Nolan Gorman.
Yeah,
He's missing the ball by a foot.
yeah, I could see that.
It's not just swinging and missing. Like you're not even close.
Yeah,
Just
I'm
needs to
with you.
get it. Needs to get some confidence just juiced up in him. Like he needs a big hit or something. And I think he can start getting going. But until that happens, it's going to be rough. Now
We
the
shall
Mets have
see.
some stuff to work out. They're still a great team, and the Braves. We didn't spend a ton of time on them, but it's just the same story. It's like
Just hit.
the good players are going to be good soon, and if they're not, they're going to continue to fumble. They
Right.
have too many good players to count them out.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the NL Central. Two more divisions here. Sitting in the cellar of the NL Central, the Pirates are 5-8. The Reds are 5-8. Neither team is really scoring that much. St. Louis is 5-7. Brewers have won three in a row after starting cold. They're 7-5. But the Cubs are 9-6. The Cubs have scored 96 runs. That is the high mark in baseball. Now, granted, they do have two more games than most, or at least one more game than most under their belt. And they went to Sacramento and just teed off against the A's. But this Cubs offense is really darn good, man. Really good.
Number one run differential in Major League Baseball. This team has scored 96 runs. That is number one in baseball. Just to put everything in perspective, the Dodgers, who are 10-4, have played the exact same amount of games, have scored 69 runs. This offense is so much fun. So much fun to watch. And it's not your typical offense where 1, 2, 3, and 4 rake. 5 is pretty good, 6 is okay, and 7, 8, 9 is not that good. But the top is just overwhelming, so they continue to hit. I'm afraid of all of them, every single one of them. I mean, Carson Kelly is off to a great start. The only guys
Fucking
who aren't
cycle
off,
getter, Carson Kelly.
the only guys who aren't off to great starts, like Ian Happ, I couldn't be like he's going to be totally fine.
Yes.
Ian Happ is totally fine. Picor Armstrong is not going to be a 64 WRC plus guy. I still don't love him as a bat, but his ability to change the game on the base pass and provide excellent defense creates a good player. And if he hits, he turns into a star. And I think he will hit at probably a league average level, so he will get better. And Matt Shaw is still a rookie, right? He's getting his legs out from under him. So, and then you just go down the lineup. I mean, Kyle Tucker is one of the best players in baseball. Seiya Suzuki just rakes every single year. Michael Busch is going to be an above average hitter. So is Dansby Swanson. So is Nico Horner. Ian Happ will get there. The catching tandem is pretty good. And then they have good bench bats in Turner and Birdie.
Yeah.
Like, there's no rest here. And this is why, like, this is my biggest buy signal of any division leader right now.
Yeah.
Because I think the Cubs are, like, pretty clearly the best team in this division. And you say, well, Justin Steele just went on the IL with elbow tendonitis. And that does suck. It stinks, right? We love Justin Steele. We don't want to see that happen. But when you still have Shota and Matthew Boyd looks good, and it's also a team that I think should be at the top of the list when we're talking about Sandy Alcantara rumors. And I think it should be at the top of the list when we're talking about adding bullpen help at the deadline. I think this team is going to be very active to show Kyle Tucker, hey, this is a spot to stay. Now, if they don't, Cubs fans should riot because you have the Ricketts family has all the money. They can
Yeah.
easily do it. They're going into negotiation with Kyle Tucker. If their plan is to re-sign him and continually be competitive for a very long time, you add at this deadline and then you re-sign Kyle Tucker and you be a powerhouse in the National League for a while. So do that. And I think they will. I'm putting my faith in that.
Yeah.
So their problems are things that I think they are at the top of the line of addressing at the deadline.
I think they got to start collecting bullpen help like now.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, this bullpen is just not very good. But
It's
like
not very
Presley's,
good, but like, hey, they're the best team in this division, hands down, with a bullpen that is not very good
yeah,
right
like
now.
Presley's been okay, right? 3.86 ERA, but he hasn't looked awesome. Porter Hodge has been good. Julian Merriweather has been okay. But then you start getting into the middle. I mean, these starters have to give these guys 6 innings because Thielbar, Pearson, Eli Morgan. Again, these are fine arms. They'll get better, but it's how much better is the question. But
Yeah, so go get better arms. Like in any way that looks, like use one of the best farm systems in baseball to go get better bullpen arms. So I do think that they will start prioritizing that pretty soon. I think you could see the first move in terms of the Cubs bullpen in the next few weeks. I would circle like May 10 as like the time where the Cubs actually start looking at that. But the offense is going to keep them pacing like one of the best teams in baseball through May 10th.
yeah,
This offense is 1 through 9, to your point, flat out awesome. There's no break.
what do you think about the Brewers?
Starting rotation again worries me. Like
Yeah.
I'm right back here and I'm back to being that quote unquote doubter that I was all the last year. And at the end, I waved the white flag on Tobias Myers. I was like, yeah, this guy's good. But like they were nervous to the point where they just traded Yafri Rodriguez and a comp pick and cash for Quinn Priester, who was not on the big league roster for the Boston Red Sox. I worry about this rotation again. And it stinks, but oh well, that's where we're at.
The current rotation right now, because there's injuries to Aaron Ashby, Aaron Savali, Nestor Cortez Jr., Robert Gasser, DL Hall, Tobias Myers, and Brandon Woodruff. So it's not really fair to say that this rotation is bad when everybody is injured, but everybody is injured.
Everybody's injured.
So you got Freddie Peralta at the top, then Tyler Alexander, then Quinn Priester, then Chad Patrick.
Then Elvin Rodriguez.
And he's not even on roster resource because he's got an 11 ERA, and I think they already demoted him. I think they're just going to go with me in their next start instead of Elvin
Sure.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, you got the shoulder loosened up.
Yeah, no, not really. My arm's going to blow up. I don't know what to think about the Brewers because it's like your same your same feel about the Guardians is almost mine with the Brewers. Like they're just gonna figure it out. But at some point, if your entire team gets injured, how really can you figure it out?
Yeah,
Especially for a team who's not going to be buying at the deadline. They're probably going to be selling kind of almost no matter what, or just standing pat.
yeah,
Right? They were at the top of their division. They didn't even add at the deadline last year. So why would they if they're not one of the better teams in the National League? So again, that worries me too. So there's just this level of like, don't count them out, don't count them out, and I'm not going to count them out. I'm just not buying. I'm just buying the Cubs win this division, but
yeah.
Brewers Nation, I'm not selling.
I will say, awesome start to the year for Chorio, Frelick, and Terang.
Yes,
Like I love those three guys.
yeah,
Terang, if obviously this OPS that he's got right now, he's hitting 300 through his first 13 games. Like that's not sustainable. But if dude, he's ripping out like a 740 OPS and he's playing platinum glove level defense at second base. Terang is one of the better infielders in the National League. And Chorio, like I'm buying all the superstar stock in Chorio right now. I'm getting in while I can.
yeah. And to just further go down the offense, like William Contreras is going to heat up. Christian Yelich is going to heat up, right? I don't think Reese Hoskins is going to be a 464 OPS guy. Joey Ortiz is going to heat up a little bit. Garrett Mitchell has been good. I think he can be better. So I think the offense is going to get better. I don't know why the bullpen is off to such a bad start, at least, with the stats. When I've been watching Brewers baseball, I haven't like seen a bad bullpen other than them putting in guys who, when they're down by a lot or up by a lot, just getting kind of shelled. So I think I'm looking at an ERA, like they're 27th in bullpen ERA. That's just not true. It is true, but it's not true if you know what I mean. So I think the bullpen's good. I think the rotation is like a major issue, and I think the offense is good. So I think they'll be above 500. I think they'll be like 83 wins type of team, but the Cubs are just going to pull away.
Yeah. I'm totally with you, man. I think this is the Cubs division to lose, and it is fun that we are saying that at this point. Last but not least, the National League West. So far and away the best division in Major League Baseball. So far and away.
The
You have the 2 and
Diamondbacks
9
are
Rockies.
the
What'd you say?
Diamondbacks are one of the best teams in baseball, and they're fourth in this
Yeah.
division.
You've got the 2-9 Rockies sitting at the bottom. And then you've got the 7-6 Diamondbacks, the 10-4 Dodgers, the 9-3 Giants, and the 10-3 Padres. They're a half game better than the Giants and the Dodgers. I am not buying the Rockies, unfortunately, even though Dolander and Veen, welcome to the freaking show.
You're such a fraud.
I think I'm buying literally everybody else. The
I know.
Padres are actually the one that concerns me the most over the Giants. I asked you
Really?
to respect the Giant bullpen last week, and I maintain that.
Hell
And
yeah.
that Giant lineup, dude, like they've got some magic cooking right now. Wilmer Flores and who just hit the walk-off bomb yesterday?
Mike Yastrzemski.
Yeah, Yaz hit that. Like, I mean, it feels like the vibes are really good. Adamas is balling right now, it seems, and everything is coming up aces for the Giants right now.
The rotation looks pretty damn good. Yeah, I mean, I have no worries about the Giants at all. I mean, I'm so excited. One of my favorite win totals this year was the Giants over 79.5 wins. And I'll say it again. It's not because I thought they'd win 80. I think they'd be really competitive and be potentially in the wild card conversation. And so far, I've been proven right. But to take a victory lap on April 10th is extremely foolish. I don't know what to think about the Padres. The Padres are breaking my brain. I think I need you to walk me through it, what your concerns are with them, because like I look at the Padres team and I still just see such a top heavy team. And I don't like relying on top heavy teams because Jackson Merrill goes down with an injury. Tatis goes down. I think he's day to day right now. I think he's going to be totally fine. Jay Cronenworth, kind of the same thing. It's like if those guys get hurt, it gets barren so quickly. And then you start to see like Brandon Lockridge come in center for Merrill and he can't hit. Jason Hayward is already there. Elias Diaz is already there. Like, can Gavin Sheets? He slowed down a lot lately. He was like a 300 WRC plus to start. Now he's at 116. Like Gavin Sheets is probably going to keep going down. I don't
Yeah.
think Jay Cronenworth puts up a 160 WRC plus. And then it's like, who's going to hit? And then in the rotation, we love Cease. We love King. But is Vasquez going to be an elite pitcher like he's been so far? Is Nick Pivetta going to be elite? Is Kyle Hart going to help them at all? The saving grace for this Padres team is the bullpen is fucking awesome. I mean, the
Yeah,
bullpen,
bullpen's
we talk
awesome.
about the Giants, like respect their bullpen. Holy shit, this Padres bullpen is good. Every single guy I think is awesome. Like
Yeah.
even when Wandy Peralta comes in the fifth, I'm like, yep, I feel good about you.
Yeah.
They're one of the deepest, best bullpens in baseball.
No, I mean, your concerns are my concerns, honestly. And that's why I'm not buying San Diego to win this division. Like, we were a Merrill injury away from seeing Brandon Lockridge play center field every single day. And
Yeah.
like Jose Iglesias is playing a lot. I do like Iglesias, but like Martin Maldonado and 41-year-old Yuli Gurriel and Oscar Gonzalez makes up the rest of the bench. Kyle Hart, Pavetta, Randy Vasquez, like I understand they paid Pavetta a lot of money, but I'm totally with you. You are two injuries away from this being a bad team with a superstar.
But then there's the part of me that's like, well, what if they don't get injured and they just rake? And those, and maybe Randy Vasquez takes a step back, but Nick Pavetta is very solid this year. And then that bullpen locks it down. And
Yeah.
then knowing AJ Preller, maybe he buys or maybe he sells. I have no idea.
It
Like, I
it
have no
was
idea
weird.
what's going to happen.
It was weird to see Cease have 9 hung on him last time out.
He was just throwing the ball right down the middle. I've never seen Cease that bad. I mean, Cease, like once a year, he'll have
He's
the
done
worst
that.
start
Yeah.
you've ever
Once or
seen.
twice a year he does that.
And that happened, but I was like, I mean, what are you doing, Cease? You're just throwing right down the middle. And he's like, well, I guess today's not my day. That happens. We'll toss
Yeah.
that dirt over our shoulder and we'll get back at it. But yeah, that wasn't good to see. I don't
It's
know
just a little the situation with the roster is just a little fragile for me.
because I think we're also holding them to a higher standard because of how good the division is,
Yeah.
right? Like if this Padres team was doing what they were doing in the American League Central, maybe even the
Oh,
National
then
League
I'm
Central,
totally sold. But like
right?
they
Even
gotta they
the
gotta fend
American.
off the Giants and the Dodgers right now. And the
Honestly,
D-backs right now.
I think outside of the NL East, I think the Padres would win every other division.
Yeah, I think the Padres would have a fighting chance in the NL East too.
Yeah, they would. So it's like Padres fans, when you're listening to this, we're selling that you're going to be better than the Dodgers.
But we're
like
holding, yeah, we're holding
like
you to an absurd standard.
because they have to be held
And
to this standard because the division is unbelievable.
right, and we're hyping up the Giants. Like I don't think the Giants. I think the Giants are still sharping into fourth place in this division, but it's going to be the best fourth place team you've ever seen.
I know. I mean, there were some NL East years where the Blue Jays are finishing third and fourth and winning 90 games. I mean, I think that's what's going to happen here. Like, I think the Giants are going to be a top 10 team all season and finish fourth. That sucks. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it does suck, but
like,
like that's where we're at with the NL West.
I mean, you like if you're a Giants fan, you gotta be preying on the Mets' downfall. Like that's if I'm a
Yes,
Giants fan, I'm watching Mets games and being like, lose, 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 so we can get in the playoffs. But again, like
and it's April 10th, by the way.
it is April 10th, so start watching Mets games
Yeah,
and praying. That'll be a fun thing for them to do all season long. There's a part of me that can see the Giants being better than the Diamondbacks. I mean, the
yeah,
Diamondbacks aren't perfect. I mean, they're still good. I mean, they're still really good. I don't. I'm trying to sort them out. It's an impossible exercise.
yeah. I'm totally with you. But it's the Dodgers division until
Yeah,
proven otherwise. Have
exactly.
to be there.
It's so funny though. It's like the Dodgers sign all these people, and yet the last two pitchers to pitch for the Dodgers are Justin Robleski and Landon Knack. It's just
Yeah,
still like Blake Snell goes in on the IL, and they just still don't have the pitching. I don't know how that's possible. How is
yep.
that possible?
I don't know.
Baseball for you.
That's totally baseball. Okay, we're going to do our weekend preview before a last word, but want to tell you that you can go to some of these games that we chat about on the weekend preview with our friends at Game Time, Peter.
Absolutely. So, Game Time is the official ticketing partner of the Just Baseball show this season, and I'm so glad that we agreed to a partnership with them because Game Time, we've talked about it before. We even talked about Game Time before they were a sponsor of the show. And we would say, all right, I'm a person who has a busy schedule, right? I think a lot of us do. So maybe we're buying our tickets a little bit closer to game time. And on game time, the tickets are always so, so affordable. Just to give everybody an example, I wasn't even thinking about going to see Yankees Giants this weekend. But on game time right now, I can get in the building for $2. $2. And they have lower fees than everybody else. Like I've been using game time my entire life. Like right now, I see a seat in section 104 in the outfield, row 7, where you can catch a bunch of Ben Rice home runs. Yes, I went with Ben Rice on that one because he's awesome. $17 on game time right now. It's incredible. I remember we went to the Dodgers World Series, and the tickets on there were so much cheaper than everywhere else. So I've been using Game Time for a long time. I'm glad we brought them back. And remember, folks, to use code JUSTBASEBALL to get $20 off your first purchase. If you don't have Game Time yet, like it's so funny. Use $20 off of your first purchase. It's $2 to go to Yankee Stadium right now. Like
Yeah,
that's how good the ticket prices are. But if you want to spend a little bit extra, on their cheap tickets where you can get them even closer,
yeah.
$20 off your first order at Game Time. It's by far the best ticketing app there is.
It's funny. We had a 7:10 first pitch. Marlins were in New York on Tuesday. It was a 7:10 scheduled first pitch. And we got word because it was going to be really cold that first pitch was getting bumped up 3 hours to 4:10. So I texted you and Colby, our director of partnerships, and I said, "Come out to the ball game." And Colby was like, "Yeah, for sure. I'll take a meeting from the ballpark." So he grabbed a ticket on game time and just got out to Citi Field
Yeah.
for a 4:10 first pitch. I did that walking up to a spring training game this spring. Like it was just phenomenal. And ease of use is the thing that jumps out to me. So again, use promo code JustBaseball on game time for $20 off your first purchase. Weekend preview. You ready?
Yep. Let's do it.
Okay. Let's start on Friday, and Friday is the 11th. We'll start at 6:10 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City in Cleveland. Chris Bubich against Tanner Bybee. Who you got?
I don't want to go against my guy Bybee. And I would not bet this because I don't want to go against my guy Bybee. But how can you not take the Royals here? Bubich looks phenomenal. And I've
Yeah.
always felt that after playing the White Sox, you get lit up by a team that's better than the White Sox. So I would go with the Royals here. I think Bubich turns in a very nice start. I think Bobby does too. I think it's a lower scoring game and the Royals win.
Got you. Blue Jays Orioles in Baltimore. Bowden Francis against Tomoyuki Shigano. Who you got?
Bowden Francis, what are you talking about? Of course I'm taking the Blue Jays there.
Cool.
Orioles fans, stand up. Sagano and I are going to war. Which
Yep.
side are you on? Probably Sagato's side. Blue Jays fans, stand up. Come with me. We're going Blue Jays here.
You've got tomorrow or tonight, pardon, Friday night, tonight in Seattle, Rangers, Mariners, Jacob deGrom against Bryce Miller
Ooh. That's in Seattle.
in Seattle.
Ugh. Because there's a part of me that says, well, Bryce Miller's going to shove in Seattle. Because this Rangers offense, I'm still not sold on. But then there's another part of me that DeGrom just gave up 8 hits and 3 earned. He's going to come back and shove.
Yeah.
Like this game might end 1-0, but you know what? I'm going to give me the Mariners. They're going to start getting
Okay.
hot here. And the Rangers cannot keep teetering on this timely hitting, timely bullpen help, 5-0 and 1 run games. Give me the
Sure.
Mariners.
Sure. Last one tonight at 10:10 in LA. Yamamoto and the Dodgers against Matthew Boyd and the Cubs.
Such a good game. Yamamoto's looked awesome to start. Uh, I mean, I'm looking at the line on BetMGM right now. The Dodgers are minus 190. I think that's pretty telling against a really good Cubs team. I'll take the Dodgers.
Okay. You've got Jordan Hicks against Will Warren in Giants Yankees on Saturday afternoon at 3:05.
Well, obviously, I'm taking the Yankees. What do you mean?
Will Warren,
Yeah.
stand up.
Jordan Hicks, though, looks good. He's throwing gas, but
He is throwing
I'm
gas.
always like, do I buy in because it's early? His arm's fresh. I
Yeah.
need to see it progress. But right now, his arm looks fresh, but I will take the Yankees.
Okay. In Arizona on Saturday night, 8:10, Corbin Burns taking on his former employer, Chad Patrick and the Milwaukee Brewers.
I think the D backs put belt to ass. And the reason being, I think Burns shoves. I think Burns at home
He's got to
against
blow off some
Burns.
steam against
Yeah,
Milwaukee.
I think he shoves.
I
So
understand.
again, that's not like I don't think Chad Patrick gets killed or anything. I mean, he might,
Yeah.
but I think
Yeah.
it's because Burns shows up.
Saturday night in LA, 9:10, Cubs Dodgers, Ben Brown against Roki Sasaki.
Dodgers got to lose one of these rookie starts soon, right? I mean, he's 3-0 and
I don't
Roki's
know, but
crying.
Brown has struggled mightily.
Yeah, he's looked terrible. It's just if the Dodgers bullpen is rested, they're gonna win.
And Yamamoto
Um,
goes the night before.
I'll go Cubs to be different, but Dodgers
Okay.
are gonna win probably.
9:40 Eastern on Saturday night, Brian Wu against Kumar Rocker, Mariners Rangers.
Mariners get the win. Brian Wu at home. I'll take that every day of the week.
All right. And then Giants Yankees on Sunday afternoon, 1:35. Logan Webb against Carlos Rodon.
Mm. Rodon's impressed me lately. He was on like 91, I think, in his last start. The fastball looked bad, but he just battled. Or maybe that wasn't, maybe it's the start before. But regardless, like Rodon just doesn't look himself, and we got to go up against Webb and all those ground balls. I think the Giants steal that one.
Okay. And then two more on Sunday at 4:10 p.m. on Sunday. Freddie Peralta against Zach Gallen in Arizona.
Hmm. That's a great game.
Yeah.
That's a great game. Freddie's look great. Gallon put us in a blender. Hmm. What do you think? Are you refraining from answering as the Marlins radio guy? That's totally fine.
I'm refraining from answering.
Okay. Um, give me. I need the Diamondbacks for my win total over. Give me, give me Arizona.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
because it's going to be such a great game. I'm just biasly taking the D-backs.
Yeah. And then last but not least, Sunday afternoon at 4:10, Nathan Eovaldi and the Rangers against Logan Gilbert and the Mariners in Seattle. Eovaldi and Gilbert.
You know what I'm calling for the Mariners sweep. Season's back
Sure.
on. Mariners sweep
Sure.
this series. Give me the M's.
Look at you, man. All right, that's what we got for the weekend preview. I do have a quick last word. Peter wanted me to clarify something that I like doing every year. I tweet at TurboTax every year when I do my taxes. And I did it the day before tax day, like the day before the deadline day in 2023. Because I was just waiting. I was like, oh, damn, I have to do my taxes. So I hop on TurboTax. And honestly, like, this is not an advertisement. I thought they made it really easy. So I just pop in. And as a joke, like, I finished doing my taxes at like 12:45 a.m. Like, it was after midnight. So I tweeted them. I was like, doing my taxes at 11 p.m. was efficient and easy. Thank you, TurboTax. And they responded to me within like couple hours. It's like, thanks, appreciate it. Thanks for crushing your taxes with us or something. So every year I was like, you know what? I'm going to tweet TurboTax whenever I use TurboTax to do my taxes. So I tweeted them again in 24. They didn't respond to me. They just liked the tweet. I was like, what are we doing here? And then I tweeted them again today. Like it was a pretty frustrating 2 hours, but the woman that I was speaking with on the phone really helped me through my taxes. And I tweeted them. I said, beat the buzzer this go around because tax day is in what, 4 or 5 days. I said, I'll pull this up to actually read it aloud. I said, beating the buzzer this year, but thanks to TurboTax, filing was entirely painless. Thanks again, TurboTax. Hashtag not an ad. Hashtag TurboTax. Hashtag taxes. Within 90 seconds, I got a reply. Swish, nailed it. Basketball emoji. Congrats on getting those hashtag taxes done from Intuit TurboTax.
Just another reminder, this is not an advertisement. And
Not an ad. I think it's a real fun bit.
that's why I wanted Jack to bring it up because I was like, did you sign an ad deal like by yourself with
No.
TurboTax? And then I go through, it's like, you've been tweeting at them for years. And then
Yeah.
I'm clicking through the thread just in the morning and I'm like, wait, I got to keep writing this article. What am I doing? Why am I going down the TurboTax Jack rabbit hole where he's just responding with the person that runs the TurboTax social media to like himself? Like,
Yeah.
I think only you understand the bit. So I wanted you to explain it.
It's just a fun bit for me internally. And I will say my fiance really likes the bit. Like I FaceTimed her and I said, can I show you something? And she had a look of concern on her face and she was like, yeah, what's up? And I just screen share TurboTax responding to me and she just goes, fuck you, man. I was like, yeah, there we go.
So that'll do it for this episode of the Just Baseball Show. Hopefully, everybody has a good weekend. And in the meantime, if you're interested in joining the Discord, it is popping off in there. Over 500 members have come in. It has been such a blast talking baseball with all the supporters of the Just Baseball Show and anybody who just likes baseball. It's $10 a month. You can find the link in the episode description. Make sure to use promo code JustBaseball both on BetMGM and Game Time. Game Time, you head into any of these games this weekend, first offer, right? $20 off your first order by using code Just Baseball. You want to go get yourself some Just Baseball merch? Of course, I'm rocking the hat. Jack's rocking nothing. Hates the company. Do not be like Jack. Get your merch in the description below. And if you don't want to spend a dime, you're not going to any games, you don't gamble, you don't do anything, you don't want to join the Discord, that's okay. All I ask, rate and reviews, 5 stars, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Leave a written review if you would be so kind. Like, subscribe, comment on YouTube. For Jack McMullen, I'm Peter Apple. Have a great weekend. And with that, thank you, everybody.